Hello, my friends, and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again. Today, we have about 7 topics for this video, fast ones. The Russians again strike Ukraine and Kiev especially with many missiles and drones, about 50 some. The mass media obviously portrays that as a coincidence, another coincidence, a plan. I would call it a coincidence, but they call it a plan to strike Ukraine as children go back to school. So you see, these are criminals. So that's the first topic, and we're gonna expand on that, give you some details on what happened to Kiev, how many missiles these guys claim they downed. The Russians report they attacked this, the Ukrainians and Western free media says something else about the attack. Well, that's one. Remember, the debris cause damage, not the missiles themselves. The missiles, the Patriot systems destroy them. Why? Because they're good. You got to buy them. All right. The other one is Poland really goes forward with being maybe forever destroyed by Russian nuclear weapons. Why? They want to strike Russian incoming in Ukraine missiles and drones over the Ukrainian territory. But Russia would not have the right to destroy the Polish air defense systems, whatever they use, the airplanes, to shoot Russian missiles down over a third party, which is Ukraine. You know what I mean? So I can punch you, but you can't punch me. Well, you know why? Because it was not me punching you. It was just the knuckles punching you. Got that? So if you have a problem with the knuckles, not with me. Right? So if you want to have a problem with the knuckles, turn your face like this, and the knuckles will come and give you some service over here, provide you with some services. And that is the Foreign Minister Sikorsky, who makes the claim that, yeah, it's our duty actually. It's our duty to do it. It's moronic. Next one. Turkey applies officially to join BRICS. So Turkey jumps on the other ship or keeps both legs, one on that side, one on this side. This is what Turkey does. And Turkey is a country that seems to be one of the most independent countries on this planet, with Hungary to a certain extent. The problem with Hungary is that it belongs to the European Union still. It belongs to NATO, which obviously Turkey is part of NATO too. But why do I say it's independent? Because it looks for its own interests. It's not a vassal state like, let's say, Romania. All right, let's go to the next article. Article has to do with the coup, the revolution that occurs at this point in Serbia. I did not know that my Serb friends love so much environment, and they are so about the global warming. Therefore, they need to really overthrow a government. I said a few days ago, and I'm going to show you of the video, I think it was on the 29th, I made a video when Macron visited Serbia and gave Serbia about 12, Mirages, whatever he gave him, airplanes, fighter jets for $3 billion. And everybody was like, oh, Serbia belongs to the West. Yeah, they turn around. And I said in that video, this is the start of a little revolution. There will be mass demonstrations. Here they are. The environmentalists, which are the communists. But anyway, why did I call them that? Tell me one time when you see the environmentalist parties, the Greens, joining, let's say, a conservative party. I'm not going to use their terminology, the conservative party. You will never find that. Even though they should be conservative, right? Because you conserve the status quo. No, they will always be with the social democrats, which are social democrats. Social, sounds familiar? Not the German National Socialist Party, not that one, because that's right, but it's Socialist Party. These guys really gave us some big lies. Another one, Russia reportedly, or according to Ukrinform, a Ukrainian media outlet, approached with their military airplanes Latvian border hundreds of times. Why? Because Latvia has a big mouth, and is a big mouth with a small body. That means if you don't pay attention, you're gonna, you squash it. But a big mouth will make a noise like you can hear it from Pluto. So these are the topics for today. So let's start with the first one, shall we? And I'm going to show you how Associated Press puts together the narrative. All right, so you feel compassionate. And by saying this, you realize, by making this title right here, you're going to realize who is the good guy and who is obviously the bad guy. Associated Press, Ukraine's children return to school as Russia launches drones and ballistic missiles at Kiev. I can make a different title. Russia tries to liberate the Ukrainian children from the Western perversity and their masters, Havana Gila, and they try to help spread a healthy society and preserve the Ukrainian culture and historical values. How about that? Nah, there's not going to be that one. It's going to be soon. You know when? When the Russians are going to do what they say they will do in Ukraine, which is achieve the 4 points that they said we're going to come over Red Rover. And there were a lot of Ukrainians, I guarantee you, that said. But anyway, what do I know? So here you have, you see, that's why these guys just did it. Like, it's a coincidence. Why don't they do it? Let's say Svetlana and let's say Alexei had sex as Russia launches drone and ballistic missiles at Kiev. Why not the car accident on the boulevard occurred as Russia launched? Why not that? Because they don't want to pinpoint. It has no value. This is what you need to know. And we have 3. No diversity yet. Oh, blonde, blue-eyed. Cover your mouth. Oh, blue-eyed over here. These are Ukrainians. Well, if I was about to say, which I did, if Ukraine will be losing the war against their own nation and culture, those 4 children will look very differently. Nothing wrong with that, right? Well, tell that to the Zimbabweans, the guys from Namibia, the guys from Philippines, if they would like that. And why would you like that? Why would I? I don't. All right, and I'm pretty sure they don't want that either. Because tomorrow we're going to have Zimbabweans, the football team of Zimbabwe, looking like me. But hey, I'm Zimbabwean. Why? I was born there. All right, let's go. All right, boy. Russia launched an overnight barrage of drones and cruise and ballistic missiles at Kiev, not only. Officials said as children were returning to school across Ukraine, some pupils found classes cancelled because of damage from the attack. Okay. Next one. This is from today, September 2nd, just so you know. Mass attack carried out on energy facilities in Ukraine. Hey, you are liars, because Associated Press tells us you did it because of these guys. All right. Mass attack carried out on energy facilities. Military sites where aircraft and missiles are produced and repaired have also been struck, the ministry in Moscow reported. I'm giving you at least 3, 4, 5 sides on this garbage. Russia's armed forces have carried out a massive strike on a number of targets across Ukraine, including energy and defense industry facilities, the defense ministry in Moscow reported on Monday. Got it? The Russian military also targeted UAVs assembly and storage sites, as well as temporary deployment points for, quote-unquote, nationalist formations and foreign mercenaries, end quote. The ministry reported. In addition, the ministry stated that Russian forces have struck using tactical aviation, drones, missiles, and artillery, various concentrations of enemy forces and military equipment in 143 districts. Got that? All right, let's see. Ukraine Prime Minister Denis Mihar stated that the barrage affected a total of 15 regions, while Energy Minister Gelushchenko-Stein described the energy situation in the country following the attack as difficult. All right, next one. This is from the Ukrainians. Let's see what they say. Ukraine air defense downs 22 Russian missiles and 20 attack drones overnight. And here is the evidence. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. That makes 20. That's the evidence right there. Let's see what they did. Russia bombarded Ukraine using 58 airborne assets on the night of 1 to 2 September, and Ukrainian air defenses destroyed 9 ballistic missiles out of 16 launched by the Russians, as well as 13 cruise missiles and 20 kamikaze drones. Well, only 9 ballistic missiles? The Russians launched a missile attack on Kiev, Sumy, Kharkiv Oblast. All right, Sumy, so Kiev, Sumy, Kharkiv. Sumy, Kiev, Kharkiv. Right there. So, Sumy, I can make it like this. Kiev, Sumy, Kharkiv, Kharkov. This is where these guys claim it happened. I trust them because they're coming from Ukraine. They also attacked with Shahed-type attack UAVs from the south. It is noted that the air surveillance troops detected and monitored 58 air targets, 35 missiles of various types, and 23 attack UAVs, 16 Iskander M, 23 ballistic missiles that were launched from Russia's Bryansk, Voronezh, and Kursk. Bryansk, Voronezh, Kursk. Voronezh right here, right? Bryansk right here, and Kursk. So from here you got the Iskanders. Is this not? This is it. I don't know what's going on with these guys. So these three oblasts, they launched the Iskanders. 14 Kh-101 cruise missiles that were launched by Tupolev. I always mix them. 295 MS strategic bombers from Russia's Volgograd Oblast. Volgograd Oblast is not on this map, but is far to the east over there, where Volga turns the. Over there is the by modern Stalingrad. All right, it's the Engels 2 air base. What else? 4 S-300, S-400 anti-aircraft guided missiles that were launched from Russia's Belgorod Oblast, right here. And then a missile of an unspecified type that was launched from Russia's Belgorod Oblast. We already got that one. 23 Shahed attack UAVs that were launched from the Russian city of Primorsko-Akhtarsk. Primorsko-Akhtarsk is across the Sea of Azov, which is right here. And Primorsko-Akhtarsk is right here. And I'm going to show you that because we like evidence and facts. Right there, not gut feelings. Got them from here. They were the USVs from the south. From here, kids, Kots. Right. As a result of the combat efforts by anti-aircraft missile troops, they destroyed 9 Iskanders ballistic missiles, 13 cruise missiles, 20 Shaheds. Got that? All right, let's see what else. Combat operation took place in Kiev, Kharkiv, Dnipropetrovsk, Poltava, Mykolaiv, Zaporozhye Oblast. So that is Mykolaiv right here, Dnipropetrovsk right here, Poltava right here, and what was the other one? Kiev. We got that one. We know that one. Where it's at. Ukrinform. Air defense systems shot down about a dozen ballistic and more cruise missiles over Kiev. Last night, air defense forces destroyed more than a dozen cruise missiles and about a dozen ballistic missiles, as well as an attack drone in an airspace of the capital. So they destroyed a lot of them. And it's the same information that I read from the other one. And we have here Russian missiles attack Raks, Kiev, and other parts of Ukraine. Raks. But hey, this is not a picture. This is just a debris falling down. Loud explosions rocked Ukraine's capital Kiev early on Monday as Russia launched a barrage of missiles, sparking fires and damaging homes and infrastructure, officials said. So we got here. The air forces said it destroyed 22 out of 35 missiles and 20 out of 23 drones. Got that? Neighboring NATO member Poland activated Polish and Allied aircraft, that's NATO, Americans and others, to keep its airspace safe during attacks. Perfect. 100% entitled to do that. But don't even dare to do what this imbecile wants you. Poland has duty to down Russian missiles over Ukraine. Siersky. Not Siersky, I'm sorry, Sirotsky. Same ski at the end that tells you that. Poles, anyway, they have balls. Ukrinform. Russian missiles debris fall across. They just debris, all right? Fragments of Russian missiles, which were shot down by the Ukrainian air defenses in the morning of September 2, fell in all the districts of Kiev. 3 people were injured. And tomorrow we find out Kiev Oblast or region doesn't have electricity, no running water, and many, like 5 oblasts, the same. Why? The debris hit the exact distribution centers. What a coincidence. Baboons? No. Baboons? Yes. All right, who's the baboons? The believers. Believers in what? Again, let's go to the last article on this subject. Many Ukrainians injured in heavy Russian missile attacks overnight. So this is the same targeting Kiev. Sumy, Kharkiv officials said that. 3 people, boo. Compare that with World War II and you realize how much. Compare this attack with the bombardment of Dresden by the Allies. All right, where about, some people say 100,000 people died, burned, and some say only 50,000 or something like this. Well, 3 people were injured. It's all bad. Why don't you ask with your masters to stop the whatever that's going on over there? So let's go to Sikorsky. Sikorsky wants you, my fellow Polish, I don't want to call you friends because I don't know you, but I consider everybody, as long as they don't prove me they are my enemies. You are my acquaintances, and why not friends? We have here, Poland has duty to down Russian missiles over Ukraine. Warsaw has a right to self-defense. That's true. That's correct. But despite conflict escalation concerns, Radoslav Sikorsky has said, you have, yes, you have. But that's not to down Russian missiles over Ukraine. That's not your right. Poland and other NATO members bordering Ukraine must be able to shoot down Russian missiles and drones that they believe pose a threat. Really. So that means if I'm right here, and let's say those neighbors over there are fighting, I'm supposed to intervene and shoot from here because I feel threatened by that. And if you say yes to this situation, you can apply it in other circumstances when things are reversed, and then you say no. Let's take, for instance, the presence of the US troops illegally deployed occupying Syria. Should Syria, or I don't know, NATO, or I don't know, the United Nations attack the Americans because the Americans are on their territory occupying a sovereign country, independent country, hey, like Ukraine? And then why not? Oh, because we are good and we're fighting terrorism. Right? The baboons tell us. Why? Because the baboons watch too much CNN and other garbage. Fox News and other. I'm not gonna shy away from that one. In an interview with Financial Times on Monday, Sikorsky argued that Poland has a constitutional duty to protect its territory. Correct, 100%. Adding that this also applied to other members of the UN. Correct. When hostile missiles, I'm quoting, are on course of entering our airspace, it would be legitimate self-defense to shoot them down, because once they do cross into our airspace, the risk of debris injuring someone is significant, he added. I understand what he's saying, but that's not the truth that they really want to implement. I understand if someone comes too close to you, not even touching you, comes in around you, you warn them, if you touch me or you're too close, I'm going to defend myself. I understand. But the problem, he doesn't want to do this here. He's going to expand his this to that, until it gets to the border with Russia. So these guys, even if they say, I'm going to shoot, I don't know, 50 kilometers, or maybe not 50, 10 kilometers when something approaches. So I have time in 10 kilometers to shoot something that really comes my way, right? 10 kilometers from my border. But do you believe that? Do you think they will just stop to 10 kilometers? This is just a foot in the door to shoot down, to actually execute or implement a no-flight zone over Ukraine. That's what they want to do. But these guys are telling this for the baboons, to wire them, get them ready to, how you marinate a steak, you put everything, seasoning, you blah, 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 and then you're ready, that's the baboon, just to do it, hit the Russian missiles over Ukraine, pack on the grill, sizzling. That's when the baboons are going to be like, yeah, man, we can do this. Yeah, I mean, we defend ourselves. We self-defense. Yes, we don't wait until the missile comes in our country. Right? It's baboonish, right? Yeah, and the further, the better. You understand? That's what it is. That's why I don't believe Sikorsky being honest whatsoever. First, he's a politician. Secondly, the Poles want to get engaged, but not to be hit back. What if the Russians say, okay, then because you hit our property, which are the missiles, then we're going to destroy you because you hit our property. You damage my property. That doesn't have anything to do. You have no evidence that my property entered your territory. It's on someone else's territory. So you can't go in my neighbor's yard and destroy my property because I have a problem with the neighbor, because you think my property will damage you in the future. Then if you hit that, I'm going to hit you directly. That's the logic. And the Poles know it, and the weasels in charge of Poland are pushing it at the behest, is that how you call it, behest, on behalf of the Al Capone. And there's many Poles that really support that, and the many baboons who are, yeah man, why not? Why not? And the Poles that supported that, yeah man, let's get those Ruskis. They fucked us so much. They owe us so much. But the Germans owe you too. Why don't you go into Germany as well? The boss did not push the button yet. And many others. So let's go to the next. And they know the Russians will strike them. And still, they push it. Ukrainska Pravda. Foreign Minister Sikorsky says that Poland should down Russian missiles over Ukraine. Clear? Clear. Poland and other countries bordering Ukraine are obliged to shoot down Russian missiles before they enter the airspace. Guy made the point with that one. Now, Turkey applies to join BRICS. Bloomberg. Rifts with NATO over Ukraine are one reason for Ankara's reported bid to join the Russia-chaired group. Well, chaired, but it's not. It's just because now it's a rotating chair. But they make it, Anyway, this is Russia today. You're not the boss. You are, over there, one of the 5. Turkey has formally asked to join the BRICS economic bloc as it seeks to forge new ties beyond its traditional Western allies. Bloomberg has reported, citing people familiar with the matter. According to the outlet, Ankara submitted an application to join the group some months ago. Unquote. Rifts between NATO member Turkey and the military bloc, other member states over Ukraine conflict were reportedly among the reasons for Ankara's BRICS application. Now they want to be part of this. And remember, Turkey could be very well be Trojan horse, Trojan War, yeah. Trojan, Iliad, Odyssey, and whatever, right? Homer. So we have, could be a Trojan horse. Horse, I say, yeah. So that means I can negotiate. The Turks like bazaars, like other people in the Middle East. They like to negotiate. Here is my mother, you give me your sister. Just kidding. I was kidding. Not. All right, so here you have it. Turkey said they will not be a part of this war. All right, here it is, my friends. Turkey foreign minister and presidency declined to comment to Bloomberg on the reported BRICS accession bid. The country's top diplomat Hakan Fidan said on June that Ankara was interested in joining the group. BRICS was founded, you got that? So it's all good for Turkey. It's all good. They will do this and they could negotiate with the Americans. That's what they did. Remember when the Americans wanted to send the Turks, was before 2016, if I remember correctly. They want to sell them, the Turks were interested in air defense systems from the United States of America. I can't remember what kind of systems were. If they were Patriot systems or whatever it was. I don't think it was. Maybe it was something else. And maybe. And the Americans, yes, yeah, we'll give it to you. And they gave them a big number. And the Turks said, but it's too much. You sell it to our friends, the Greeks, cheaper price. No. And the American says, well, you can buy only from NATO-made weapons, which is us. You can't buy it from anywhere else. And they tried to negotiate, and then Erdogan said, you know what? We're going to talk with someone else. No, you won't, because we don't let you buy any weapons being in NATO, other countries' weapons. And Erdogan said, watch me. As in Turkish, it says, trakalaka. Trakalaka means watch me in Turkish. So he said to the Americans, trakalaka, watch me. So he went to the Russians and spoke with the Putin, and the Putin said, yes, we'll do this. We're going to sell you some S-400. I know that those are worse than the Patriot, whatever, the American systems, but we're going to give you something that can shoot those down. And Erdogan said, okay, trakalaka, watch me. And he did it, and he bought. And the Americans tried to counteroffer, but they still kept it, and then started threatening and so on. In 2016, boom, it was a coup d'etat, military coup d'etat, insurrection. That's a real insurrection in Turkey. And the Putin supposedly, allegedly, helped Erdogan stay in power with his Spetsnaz and others but nevertheless, so the guy stood, okay, these guys now want to overthrow me. Okay, so he bought it. So that's how they got it. And then they negotiated with the Americans who said, we're not going to... it was also about not selling the F-16s. They said, we're not going to sell you F-16 if you do that with S-400s. And this guy said, trakalaka, that means watch me. And he did it. So these guys, oh, this guy is crazy. So he had time to negotiate. The problem is the Americans will not sell F-35s to Turkey, but it sells to its vassal state, Greece. Greece has F-35, which are newer, I don't know if better, but newer than F-16s, which are old news. But nevertheless, you see, double standard. Why? These guys negotiate, and now they have S-400, which I'm pretty sure the Americans already inspected it. But nevertheless, this is what the Turks do. They're going to negotiate. And now the Turks got back the F-16s. They're going to purchase the F-16s and the right to use them when Pentagon allows them. You remember, that's the deal. It's like you have a Ford car, you buy it from a dealership, and you want to go grocery shopping. You call the dealership or the Ford company, and you say, I want to drive my car, which is your car, to the grocery. And you have to tell them the route and all that. The coordinates where you're going to go in and for what exactly, what kind of stores you're going to go. That's how they did it. How I found out, I was like, oh my God, this is real. When the Russian I think it was Sukhoi 24, was shot down in northern Syria for supposedly entering for a little while the Turkey's airspace, shot down by a missile, by an F-16, wasn't it? And then someone, Putin, who's a liar, said, but we don't believe the liar, the dead liar. He said, well, the F-16 could not be in the air without Pentagon's approval. And he said, why? It was like, oh, okay, thank you. Liar, liar. I will never remember that. All right, let's go to the next topic. Thousands rally in Serbia accusing populist government of cracking down anti-lithium activists. Here, this is the video I made on the 29th. Macron visits Serbia. Russia relocates. The important thing is Macron, I think in this video, which is from 29th of August, I said that it's going to be a little revolution in Serbia right after Macron leaves. It's going to be activated by the democratic NGOs and so on. So these guys that you see right here, they want to have a good standard of living, for instance, but then they want, the environment. You can't really, you have to have a balance. You have to have a balance. Now, the thing with anti-lithium, I think the Germans got your lithium, don't they? So what are you doing? Who are you? Are you activated by Vucic, actually, by the government, to have this in order for us to stop the lithium going to Germany? Is that what it is? Or who are you guys? So in environmentalists, but this is portrayed by Associated Press in a good light. So these guys, the anti-lithium activists, are actually against the government. Why? Not against the Germans. Could be because the Associated Press is not a German media, right? It's a American. No, it's international. Yeah, okay. Belgrade, several thousand people rallied Sunday in the Serbian capital accusing the populist government, that's bad because it's populist, bad, of cracking down on environmental activists opposed to the European Union-backed lithium excavation project planned in the Balkan countries. So see, these guys from America, they say, oh my God, look at these guys are bad, but what's going on? The European, they will take the lithium. But I don't think these guys care. The Americans must take the lithium. The protest outside the headquarters of the state RTS television station in central Belgrade came after. Why is the television station headquarters of the state? Why is it the television? That's how you start a revolution, my friends. Make sure that you go and you're gonna transmit, broadcast whatever you want. You want to see how that happened in Romania, 1989? They went straight to the television, the only television station, occupied it, and then they broadcasted whatever they were given by the guys who had the plan. And they lied and did whatever they did in order the population were looking glued to the TV at that point because they were transmitting their garbage. Not the other garbage, but this garbage. A different garbage from a different owner. That's why it was. So environmental organizations reported the detentions of dozens of their activists. Well, if you beat up and you are rowdy and destroyed property, I would definitely arrest you and interview you. That's what I would do. I'm not saying you should not protest. I'm for it. Protest how much you want. But if you touch someone else's property or you destroyed common property, which I don't know, their roads, infrastructure, I would arrest you. That's the law, regardless on what side of the aisle you are. But hey, this is the activists, they did it. Well, see how these guys, for instance, if you want justice. See how these guys here in the greatest country in the world, which it is, why? Compare with any other, and you tell me. It's not perfect, it's never going to be perfect. So don't be an infantile baboon here. No, I mean, that's the same thing, kind of. Anyway, no, that was an insurrection. Look what they did with people who trespassed. They got 20 years, 20 years, 15 years, 5 years for trespassing. And then disrupting, okay, an official 5 or... That is the law. Remember, in our constitution, it's clearly stated that the punishment should be proportional with the crime. That means if I slap someone, I shouldn't be hanged. Is that proportionate, you know? But here, you know, you went to Capitol to some of them were destroying property. Some of them were activists. Some of them were bad people. But people that entered over there, you can see them walking with the police next to them, talking to them. You give them what? That's trespassing. That's all what could be. You don't charge them with insurrection and other garbages, but they did. So you tell me that these guys that in environmental organizations were abducted? Well, if they didn't do anything, they shouldn't have been. But they did something, they should be. All right, so I think the law should apply equally to all. And let's see how the Russians now are focused on Latvia. Remember, the Russians are weak and they can't actually do shit. They tell us with half of their mouths, you know, with the beaks, how the beaks. But with the other one, Putin's war machine is going to invade Europe and is going to go to the Atlantic Ocean. The Ruskies are going to take over you, are going to enslave you, destroy your freedoms, democracy that we are in charge of, okay, and we're protecting for you, right? And we are humans like you, but you are free. Isn't it? I am, right here. And these guys are saying, yeah, how? These guys are weak. Oh, look at what happened in Kursk. That revealed Russia's weaknesses is bullshit. They can't defend their bed. The Russians don't even really fight 100% over there. I said that before. This is from Ukrinform. This is from the 2nd of September 2024. Russian warplanes approaching Latvian border 100 times in 2024. So, that's their airspace? Fuck off. In 2024, Russian military aircraft were recorded over the Baltic Sea near the external borders of Latvian territory waters 109 times. And the NATO airplanes never approached the Russian territory. Ever. Hey. But those are the good people and the other ones are the evil ones. Says who? They tell us. Believe it. Don't do any research, right? So yeah, thank you. For example, this week, I don't care, right here. This is reported by Dalfi with reference to National Armed Forces of Latvia, Ukrinform, Latvia. So there you have. They have an aircraft routine flies over the Baltic Sea without a transporter or flight plan. Okay, well, they violate certain protocols, but you impose sanctions on us, on our fleet, on our gas, on our oil, on our ruble, on our swift communication messaging. You know, you did this, and you tell me I don't use a transporter on a flight plane. Are you crazy? So you want me to be but I can't do anything about it, right? No, as I said, the Russians will do eventually this, and this will happen. First, they create, as they call it, a multipolar world. And then they will create their own institutions. And they will be like my institutions, my insurance companies, my, little United Nations here. And the nations will be probably disintegrated at one point. Probably will be a meeting point where these guys are going to come and discuss my view and your view. Worst than the Cold War. Worst, because these guys don't only have the resources, technology, manpower, and military force and the territory compared with what Soviet Union had. These guys are monsters. Oh, okay. Okay. So, and that's what's going to be. They're going to create the alternative or separate institutions. And when these guys you can do this over the Atlantic Oceans. Yes, we can. These are, and our institutions say, you can't do this in the Atlantic Ocean. They say, yeah, we can. That's what it's going to be. It's the same. I'm flying like that. What do you want? Didn't you impose so far, 14 rounds of thousands of sanctions on us? And you tell me about my transporter and my flight plan? Fuck you. No, But if you would do this, that's all okay. Why? Because we are the good and they're the evil. Where's the Bible? Anyway, thank you very much for being with me again. And not only. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.